You mentioned before Craig Sager was someone you just mentioned. Yeah. Stuart Scott, rest in peace. Who were some of the people?
What's good with y'all? We in the Black Journal Podcast Studios right now. We live with it.
Washington Post, great newspaper.
You know what I mean?
I think I read that book, All the President's Men.
We getting things going on right now. Usually we was supposed to do this yesterday, but I had flew in yesterday. Got in a little late. You did, but you know, we don't cheat the grind. You heard me. You feel me? So
we going on. Like full-time beat writer of an NFL team. She covered the Washington football team, and she was the first woman to do it full-time. But I was a kid reading that, and I didn't know about the first full-time. I just knew I was in the newspaper, and I read about the team I liked, and there was a woman who wrote about it. So I just assumed I would do that because I saw it. And it wasn't until much later that people kept saying to me, like, come on, you can't really do that. And it was too late because I had already seen her do it. And that made such an impression on me once later I found out kind of how that dynamic plays. When you're a kid, you don't understand it. But it's why I think now, you know, we use representation as we almost overuse it sometimes and it's lost its meaning. But if you can't fucking see anybody doing what you're doing, it's very hard to get there. And if you can see people doing it, it just changes the whole equation. So she did that for me.
Beautiful. You ever had second doubts?
What, the last 5 minutes? Yes.
But choosing your career, you think so?
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, there's times where I sit there, and whether it's like the practical stuff, if it's 2 in the morning and you're exhausted, you've done it so long, you do the way you want to do it. You're like, why do I get enough all the stuff in my life? And it's like, something like this family stuff, whatever. There's times where I sit there, but then you sit there like, okay,
All right.
That's because she's watching live.
Yeah. Some comments. What's the deal, my boy?
What's good? Yeah. What's good, buddy? Back to the bros. Dang it.
Coming on a late night.
Yeah, it's a late night for y'all, man. Excuse us for being a little tardy, but we had some things we had to take care of first, man. You don't understand, you be like, can't afford this shit no more, so you know.
You lied with it. No, exactly.
Shut up, nigga. Stab a crowd neck ass. Talking to her shit like that. I want to fight, so she got. Oh no. Some pretty how she do.
No, you're right, man. You know what I'm saying? Up out of here.
All right, man. Hold on, let's get ready to rock with them.
So it's kind of different. I don't know what the hell. I think I phased over here, and now we're here. But realistically, I flew here yesterday, and like I said earlier, before he came in, we're here, Black Journal Studios.
In one place, my nigga.
You thought it wouldn't happen, but it does happen sometimes. Keeping the hat on because I'm in business.
We mean business tonight, man. This one right here is gonna be nice for y'all. We're gonna get the introductions out the way. So, oh, by the way, before we get the introduction out the way, this is the 20th episode, nigga. 20, bro. You feel me? 20th episode of the Black Journal. I don't understand. But you can't tell me what you hear.
I don't know where it is.
I got you, bro. We here with it, you know what I'm saying? My boy had to do his daddy duties. What's that do, Chad? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's the Black Journal Studios, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the viewers that's watching right now, right here. I am currently in the great state of Texas with my boy King of, aka Sensei Nation. He's right now doing daddy duty, but we're actually gonna do, you know what I'm saying, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Charles up in the building. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Diamond the Rough in the building, aka Thomas, you feel me? Sorry to say your government name, but I didn't say your last name, so I think you'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? But hey, we here. I am one half of the Black Journal right now. I'm just gonna introduce myself. My name is Sir Mallymal, aka Malcolm. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? The boy Lone Wolf and all that. It is what it is up in this thing, you know what I mean? And we're gonna be doing with a, you know what I'm saying, a very serious topic, and that's education, right? You understand? Education, right? Think about it in your head, right? Education. What didn't you have that the other kids have, or what did you have that the other kids didn't have? It may be education that y'all have in common. Somebody that was right next to you, you know what I'm saying? Yes, sir, Lone Wolf, you know what I mean? Somebody that was right next to you in your neighborhood didn't have the same education as you did. So why wasn't that emphasized in their family? Like, what happened? Maybe they weren't, you know, rich enough or made enough money to put them in public school. Or maybe they just didn't have the means or the resources to, you know, have kids to go to daycares or something like that. How many various of problems that we have in our communities that causes the lack of education or resources in our community, right? So you think about this, when I was growing up, it came down to a certain standpoint where, you know, back in the day, I used to grow up going to a living center, you know what I'm saying? I forgot who owned it. Education, yes, sir. And we used to go to living centers back in the day. You know, sometimes you had community centers that, you know, either in your apartment complexes or somewhere around the neighborhood. Some inner communities that actually gave a fuck at the time. And it was called the Nova Learning Center. That's what it was called. And I used to be mentored by this dude named Alvin that used to be there. That used to, you know, be around the neighborhood, gather all the kids in the neighborhood, you know, play, you know, dodgeball and aka sprout ball and stuff like that, where you just, you know, roll a ball, like stuff like that I used to grow up in. That's how I used to, you know, get along with other kids in the sense. Maybe if they didn't like me, they probably respected me because I played good sports, or, you know, I'm good at sports, and, you know, we had something of that in that common. And so it's like, how do you, you know, get out of that disconnect from having that to now just, you know, we're on our phones all the time. I mean, yes, we can educate ourselves, you know what I'm saying? As Charles said in the comments, education, you know, we have YouTube now, you know what I'm saying? We have Google, we have all that, but how many people don't really just research in that type of standpoint? It's a lot of us that don't do that. So it just comes down to a fact of like, how do you feel when you have now you have information accessible to your phones and computers such as us? How do you really go about, you know, obtaining that information that you didn't seek or you didn't have, and now you need to seek it? And how do you apply it? And how do you do this? And how do you do that? So the thing about it is, applying our education is, how do you do it? My thing is, it's all about, you know, teaching what you know and not forcing it, right? some people would say like, oh, I know about this, you need to shut up type of people. And it's not like that in that type of energy, but you know, we have people like that, and it's like we don't need boastful people like that. Okay, yeah, you know what you have to know and stuff like that, but just think about, you know, being humble about things like that. As we have my boy Nation come up in the building. Let me pause real quick so he can introduce himself real quick.
So sorry, everybody. I had to take care of some things. But I'm back. It's your boy Nation, Nation. In the flesh, with your boy, the Sermon of the Man. This is the Black Journal, episode 20. Started from the bottom, now we're here. But back to what you were saying, bro. I'm sorry.
No, you Gucci like you Gucci, dog. You know what I mean? I was just talking about pretty much like how we used to have like, you know, like the lack of education is because of the fact that like, you know, a lot of community centers and daycares or like, you know, get shut down a lot of in our inner communities, and we have to go to these rich ass neighborhoods to kind of like low key pay top dollar just to try to watch our kids for at least about 6 to 7 hours out of the day while we go to work and take care of our business, pay our bills, and do all that. So therefore, you know, back in the day, my mom didn't have no worries about leaving me by myself or at my house because of the fact that we also had mentors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That had you know, that had living centers, had community centers in our apartment complexes and communities. Yeah. That really pretty much didn't mind, you know, working those type of hours. You know, they get paid. That was funded by, you know, either the city or whatever the case may be. So it's like we need to start getting these people. And see, this is the importance of really voting these people in, like in our educational resource departments and stuff like that, because we don't have the right people in our departments of education and, you know, whatever it is that involves educating our kids and making sure our communities are safe in that type of sense, and making sure that, you know, people don't have to be boxed in or in the house and not having nothing to do. Mm-hmm. Whether if they want to go outside, all right, cool, you go outside, we'll go to the living center over there, go play with the kids inside there, go do some activities, play some, you know, go do something. You know what I mean? So that's what I grew up off of. That's why I was able to at least, you know, even if I am a quiet person, I was able to at least break out of the shell of like, all right, cool, he straight. Hey, how you doing? So it's just like, you know, people got to learn, hey, education is real important. So if you don't understand that, you know what I'm saying, in any shape or form, a lot of people don't go to school. So it's not about going to school, it's about it's about learning. So necessarily going to school is not all about learning. It's about what you do and how you apply it to your life. How are you doing in your life? Are you educating yourself at life, or are you just doing some weird shit? Take away my boy Nation. Go ahead, man.
First off, let me start like this. Education for me does not start in the schoolhouse. Education for me starts in the household. Before you go to school, your parents are there to educate you on the world, educate you on certain things, like they teach you how to walk, teach you how to talk, teach you how to feed yourself. They potty train you. They teach you things before you go to school so that when you get to school, you're already acclimated to the school system's plan.
Yeah.
But my thing is this: are we teaching our children the truth? Or are we teaching what they want us to teach? Are we teaching our children that you're not just another black kid? We have rich history. Everything starts here.
Mm-hmm.
And here. But until we get here to understand that this costs more than gold, and that's a fun fact. You can actually Google that. Melanin costs more than gold. Costs more than diamonds. It's a fact. Our melanin is priced higher than diamonds. I really just want y'all to really understand what I'm saying right here. Like, I don't really think y'all grasping that. Like, do you think they understand what I'm saying? Because I really want people to understand this.
No.
y'all are not really understanding that the melanin in your skin is priced higher than diamonds, bruh. Diamonds. What people like to have on all their chains and in their mouth and on their watch and on their belt sometimes.
Damn near can't even get that on the stock market.
You can't. But melanin somehow is priced more than diamonds, more than gold.
It's a rare entity that a lot of people just
So-
can't have if you're not going with it.
So are we really teaching our children the truth, or are we teaching our children what they taught us? Are we teaching our children what we researched, or are we teaching our children what we learned in school? Yes, that is what they're giving our children. We know for a fact you're going to have to teach your children math, English, social studies,
Mm-hmm.
science. But in some of those, there are things that if you research on your own, you can teach your children way more about those subjects that a lot of people don't know, or either know and don't want told, don't want seen in the light of day, don't want that secret revealed.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at it, people really got to start doing certain research. Like my boy Diamond in the Rough was the one that really kind of got me to doing a little more research. And I had a kid come to me 2 weeks ago, and she goes, "Coach, I got to talk to you." I said, "What's up?" She says, "Have you ever Googled what Africa's name really means?" I was like, "What you mean?" She says, "Have you ever Googled it?" I knew exactly what she was talking about, but I just kind of wanted to see where her brain was.
Yeah.
And she goes, "I don't know how to say the word." And she tried, I ain't gonna lie, she butchered it. It was funny. We laughed. But she was like, "It means the Garden of Eden."
Hmm.
I was like, "Okay, so what else?"
First of all, let me stop you there. How old was the girl?
She
For the
is 13.
Mind you, 13-year-old, and what was the race of the girl, mind you?
She's black.
All right.
She's black.
So don't make it seem like our youth can't learn because of this. What the hell he just about to talk about right now? Sorry to interrupt. I just had to put that
No,
in
you
there.
good. But she was actually, and she was the entire time I'm kind of trying to explain what I'm talking about to the youth. I really didn't have to explain a thing because she was already educated. But what she told me was, I educate myself. I don't allow people to tell me what to think or what to know. Yes, I come to school and I learn what they tell us to learn, but I also learn outside of school so that I know what I need to know. And that right there is the key. We have to get our students to want to know more, our children to want to know more. We can't be afraid to allow them to reach because we're not afraid to reach to that information.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you forbid your kid to do the same?
Facts.
Right now, education in the Black community, man, is well needed. It's greatly needed. You have to educate these young men and women, even from the time when they can start talking and understanding and putting sentences together. I tell my son all the time, if I'm a king's son, you're a prince, and princes don't do things like that.
Right.
You gotta live your life as if you already where you want to be. And we all know we're not where we want to be. I'm far from where I want to be. But I'm taking those steps and I'm manifesting my kingdom before I have it. So you tell me, would you rather be manifesting it and at least pushing toward that goal, or sit in the same spot for 3 to 4 years at a job that you know for a fact you would just really say fuck it to?
Oh my God.
Now, bro, it's all about our choices. I'm making my choices pretty clear to myself and nobody else, because when I talk about my shit to everybody else, it seems like it takes forever to come out. But when I sit back, I plot, I scheme, I plan, I write shit down, and I talk to my partner, my co-CEO, on everything in any business that I have at this moment. If we don't agree, it don't happen. If he say, "Nah, bro, I'm not feeling that shit," we're gonna scrap that shit. Because this is not just about me, bro. This is a Even the Black Journal, you know, shout out to Damien, D-Lo, everybody that came on. But the Black Journal is these two. That's why this episode had to be the two main faces of the Black Journal, bro. Because we want y'all to understand we're not going anywhere.
I know.
You think we're going somewhere, but every time I look up, I have something else to talk about. And education right now is the most, and I mean the most important. Because you got to think about, right now, our kids are pretty much social media babies. They thrive off social media.
Right.
They see young boy doing something, sagging his pants with a big chain on and smoking a big built backwood. What you think they're going to do? They
don't follow that shit.
They want to follow what they see. We have a bunch of leaders, but they're burdened and they're buried by followers.
That's really what it is. The whole point about that is, though, bro, it's like this, man. We don't really want to learn what we need to learn. Like, you know, the great thing about it is a lot of people, we didn't even really learn about, like, you know, investing in stocks until we really low key got into like college or maybe beyond. Because we should have learned that shit when we was in high school. And I'm talking about in our public schools. Some of them private school people, if y'all went to private school, maybe, like, don't quote me on this, but some of y'all curriculums were a little bit way more advanced than ours. You know what I'm saying? So that's why some people that did go to private schools, depending on what neighborhoods they was in, they got certain education that we didn't have. So it's like they probably already knew about investing in savings, knowing about share stocks and all that other shit like that. So I never learned nothing like that. I never heard of nothing like that, because if that was the case, man, you know how many shares I could have bought that was probably under a penny.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? At the time, if I was in high school, by the time I came out here, I mean, in Texas, right here, going to Jarvis, who would have thought that most of us probably need to be broke, coming from our situations,
yes.
And maybe a lot of people that were going to Jarvis and stuff like that. If we knew stuff like that, we were more educated like that, we probably wouldn't be in the predicaments that we were in sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Not all the times, but it's like that. That's because of the General Education Board's philosophy by John Rockefeller and Frederick Gates. Look it up. John Rockefeller was a very corrupt man that made a lot of money doing the same shit that we were just talking about. Now, I got to go look up that book to read it so I can explain it more, because I'm in a ballpark or something. So that's just pretty much what that shit is. Like, we weren't taught that in a sense, but if we seek for it, that's the whole point. Did our parents seek for it? Did our great grandparents seek for it? You know, it all goes down the lineage. It doesn't really matter about necessarily race or anything in this matter, but in our community, in the Black community, it's not necessarily frowned upon, but it's just like people don't want other motherfuckers to know about it because they don't want you to shine. But instead of them shining, is you shining, and then they want to take your shine, and that's where the envy comes in. Then we have to educate to disconnect from that too. We have to educate a lot of things. It's not just about just money and everything. Educate about how to live a comfortable life, a peaceful life. You know what I mean? So it's just sad that we have to keep even having this type of conversation, because I swear in one of the episodes, probably like episode 10, we had talked about some of this education shit when it came to problems in our equilibriums in our cities any damn way. You know what I'm saying? People are getting dumber by the years. We're talking about, we're at the bottom total poll about how dumb we are in test scores and IQ and all that dumb shit. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me that we don't have a brain function of higher than the IQ level of probably at least 1100? Stop it. You know what I'm saying? Just like this man just said, we got to start acting like what we're worth. You know what I'm saying? And in a humble sense, not even just in the sense of like, we need to boast about it, really be like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, they should already know that we're this. That's why we're being, in a sense, attacked, whether if it's being pressed in the media, making it seem like we're being attacked. So we keep getting attacked so it can make it a pity party when we shouldn't even really be pitied. We should be pitied in our own selves, because we need to start educating ourselves to shut the fuck up and just start defending ourselves. You know what I mean? And defending our peace in our community. Please, come on, though.
It's this this came to me because you got to understand in the generation that we're in, everything is based off of technology.
Mhm.
Everything is based off of something somebody else said. Everything that a lot of our teams in the Black community go off of comes from an app or comes from an actor, rapper, singer, songwriter, whatever you want to call it. It comes from a position of hope in the Black community. Because as a Black kid, you want to be a bunch of things.
Mm-hmm.
But what you most idolized were football, basketball, rappers, singers, songwriters, movie stars, whatever, what have you. It's always been, I want to be like Michael Jackson. I want to be like Usher. I want to be like Chris Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be like Music Soul Child. I wish I could sing like Luther Vandross. Wish I could be funny, act, and sing like Jamie Foxx. I wish I could rap, be a great actor, and still have a great family like Will Smith. I wish I could be a sick, dope MC like Nipsey Hussle, rest his peace. I could be hard and straight to the point. And some of the great one of the greatest groups, whether you want to call them rock and roll, hip hop, whatever you want to call them, in NWA. It's just about what you really want to be. But in this situation, it's not about what I want to be. It's that I want to be like this person instead of being a better version of myself. I'm not preaching. I'm not trying to do that. Tonight is supposed to be a special edition for y'all to understand. And we have to sit here and talk to y'all like y'all don't understand. We're trying to get y'all to truthfully just grasp the concept of what we're saying. All I'm saying is, instead of trying to, we have to get our youth to understand, because we understand this because we had strong parents. And I'm not saying parents these days aren't strong, but we had those strong parents and grandparents. We all know Big Mama, Medea,
All that,
et cetera, man.
all that.
We had those who would tell us, you're going to be who you're going to be, no matter what anybody else say. These kids don't look at it that way anymore. These kids look at it like, well, young boy said he got $1 million in his bank account. He got more than $1 million. He got a Ferrari. He got a big house. He got guns. He got cars. He got chains. He got 4 baby mamas. He got all these girls want him. He got all these different clothes. I want to be like that.
Yeah.
Instead of being, well, yeah, young boy got all that, but maybe if I plan my steps right, go through my steps as I go, and make sure that I do the best for me, maybe I can be up there where young boy is.
Right.
Instead of idolizing them, let's use them as motivation.
Exactly. And then it's like if you go even follow after people, it's like, I ain't gonna say young boy ain't the one to follow, but it's not a lot of people that's trying to follow in the footsteps of all these people that's owning and investing in companies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, they're not following those type of people. They're not following the engineers and the doctors and stuff like that on Instagram. They're following the rappers and all these other people, which is understandable. Rappers invest in companies too and stuff like that. So Jay-Z, shout out to Jay-Z and Nas. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got to a point to where they put their little beef aside back in the day. They just made a song together with DJ Khaled. Shout out to DJ Khaled for making that happen. So therefore, they educated themselves over the years to be like, you know what? Black wealth is health. So therefore, it's like Nas and Jay-Z was like, wait a minute, we could have probably been making songs all this time, making all this bread together. It'd been cool instead of just not beefing. And not saying that they wasn't cool or anything like that. It's just, people can make a perception about somebody, especially when you're younger, so you don't understand. And guess what? They weren't that educated. You know what I'm saying? Yep. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that they needed to go to college or anything like that, but they had to educate themselves through a course called life. You know what I'm saying? They had to go through life 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All these chapters of these books that they had to pick up physically and mentally in their heads. Whatever females that they dealt with during the drug trades and all the other bullshit they had to go through with their mamas and their daddies, or whatever the case may be. you know what I'm saying, with their family members. And then when they got into the music business at 19, 22, and all this other stuff, it's like, what type of education was they having to not go through any crazy shit and keep themselves sane? What books was they reading back in the day? So, because a lot of people understand in the 90s, a lot of people was actually reading. You know what I'm saying? They had a lot of books that a lot of people don't probably obtain anymore, or it's not even on Google or anything like that. You got to go like talk to somebody personally. You know what I'm saying, to get those type of information that's not on Google. It's like, no, because like no, bro, like it's some people that I follow this dude named King Knowledge on Bigo, bro. This person, no, I ain't even say nothing bad. Like, bro, cool. No, bro, cool. Like it ain't even like that. He preaches about the black woman as God and stuff like that. But it's like obviously you can't see what he's really reading, but sometimes he'll be on his live and reading something. Yeah. So it's like, what type of books is he reading? So it's just like, no, I'm not trying to say like, oh, I need to go just force him to give me his information. You know, you got to go out there yourself. If he had to go do it, he was in jail and all this other stuff. So it's just like a lot of people, those type of people like that, they got knowledge too. So it's like, it's not saying that you got to educate yourself anywhere you go, no matter what the circumstances that you're in. You know what I mean? Especially those people that are in jail that educated themselves to get themselves out. You know, Freeway Ricky Ross educated himself and read on himself. Yeah, maybe, he probably was a CIA informant. A lot of people, he obviously admitted that. But at least he actually found loopholes and read and educated himself to get himself out of that predicament. Now he's trying to stop what he pretty much created in the 80s and 90s. With that, and that's why Rick Ross even got his name from this man. You know what I'm saying? So we got to stop people, or get people like that to stop people that, you know what I'm saying, to stop that cycle that they had started in the first place. We got to educate the kids and be like, look, bro, we ain't got to do all that. You can get it this way. Invest your money into these type of stocks and buy low, sell high, because you got to. Yeah, no, it's just like you know,
understand.
You got to.
It's like with this one, it's like this with this podcast. The reason why we made this one number 20 is because it's special, but the information is quick and right in your face. We really don't, like, to be honest, we really don't have to sit here and tell y'all this shit over and over again, because we sit here telling y'all the same shit, and it's simple. Education needs to be number one in the black community. Malcolm said it straight up. We need to get those community centers back. We need to get those we need to get those apartment community centers back. We need to get like Boys and Girls Clubs back rocking running. We need to get mentorships back running. We just need to have exactly everything we need for these children to be able to learn the truth, and not just sit back and waddle in what they feel like is reality when they're drowning in something that's not even real. I just want y'all to understand something. When it comes to this podcast, we're going to give y'all nothing but the best. And I say that to say this. If you feel like education to your own child is not what you need to be doing, then you have failed your child. No disrespect, don't come out to me. But you have to understand exactly where we're coming from. You have to understand exactly what they see in us every time we come around them already. But if we start to educate ourselves to not always challenge the white man, but we study. I know. I'm always and that food downstairs.
Oh shit! All right.
But yeah, man. Like, y'all don't understand. Like, we have to educate ourselves. Like, sometimes we have to not be aggressive towards them, or not be as aggressive as we normally are, because they are looking for that, to be able to call the police, for us to be another black man in the news. We have to learn how to use psychology or sarcasm or whatever you can to derail any problem that might come towards you, whether it's white, black, Puerto Rican, Mexican, whatever.
Right.
We have to start learning how to, within ourselves, understand that what people say shouldn't make us feel any type of way, because we know exactly who we are. Right now, education for us is educating our children that they are strong, they are beautiful, they are smart, giving them the right tools to survive and to strive and to rise into higher places. And pretty much we have to just allow them to fly after that.
Exactly, especially our black queens. We gotta also educate our black queens. Shout out to our black queens out there.
Because black queens, I want to tell y'all one thing before I start talking church now. But let me say one thing. If you have a black man and you are pretty much, in a sense, like, how can I put this? And you are pretty much like, even if, matter of fact, put it like this, if you're a black queen in America and you have a man, even if you are the breadwinner, even if both of y'all have a job and one of y'all make less, please still respect him. Show him the respect that he deserves as a man. Because if he's paying rent or anything in the house, I can see if he's just paying like the water bill and that and shit.
Right.
If he's paying full rent or rent and bills and he don't have the money to do other things or things that you might want, give him time. He's working over a plan. It might take a minute. Just hold on.
Yeah. Some people just think that we gotta educate ourselves to also know that we have time. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give yourself time. Not only just see the thing about that, bro, now that you bring that up, the only reason why that's even brought up is because people don't give themselves time. Yep. You know what I mean? The people don't educate themselves. They rush into this shit, and then people think that you're supposed to rush for them along with the lines of just, you know what I mean, certain circumstances, right? You know what I'm saying? He has personal shit that he's going through. That's why that even came out of it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he understands that he needs to have time for himself in the sense to be patient with his mind, because he might snap. It might fucking say, shut the fuck up. Just that quick. But since I am here, that's not going to happen, fortunately for him. Because it's just the fact that I educated myself on the sense of psychology, knowing that the cognitive thinking that he's going through right now, he's going through a thing called the id, the super, and the ego and the super ego. Right now, his super ego is trying to come out. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to stay at the id stage because he already went past the ego stage right now. You know what I mean? So you go towards the super ego. He wanted to go into the ego of what? Chaos. That's what he calls himself. I educated myself of knowing the 3 levels of chaos that he has. Right now, he's in the middle between ego and super ego. He's going down to it right now because of the fact that I have to speak that into existence to calm him down. Because he understands to educate himself onto, like, you know what? Because if I do go this way, guess what? Usain Bolt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, go ahead.
It's a very, very crazy thing. And I'm going to be 100% with y'all, bro. This one right here, I did not think that this one, I thought this one was going to be like a broader resource. You know what I'm saying? As far as education, but to be honest, it's crazy because, like, when me and Malcolm come up with these podcasts, bro, we do a lot of thinking to try to figure out things that we can talk about that people can really come on and share and talk about. Yeah. But since it's so late, we know a lot of people are already asleep, so we just kind of wanted to put education out there because a lot of us can do a lot with educating our children. Yeah. First off.
Especially when we educate ourselves, too.
Educate ourselves first. So, for my 3 that I'm gonna give you, and then I'm gonna go downstairs and start making spaghetti.
Yeah. Hell yeah, I'll wrap it up when you go downstairs.
You want a big bowl or a small bowl?
Man, I ain't gonna count. Big bowl sounds crazy.
I say,
throw some salt and pepper if you need something on there. I don't care what it needs on there. If it's not salty or pepper, I ain't even trying to disrespect.
I got you though. No. Yeah. But 1, you have to know how to educate. So first, like Malcolm said, self-education. Educate yourself to the highest point to where even if you still need to learn things, you can always speak that positivity and those manifestations into the world for others to climb on to. 2, you always need to educate your family after yourself. Because once you educate yourself and educate your family, there's nothing anybody can do to truthfully stop you and your family from reaching your potential in the path that you guys are on. And number 3, and I hope y'all have a blessed night because I'm hungry and 12 fat people find out what lunch sandwich in a small closet.
No way did this man just say this shit.
But number 3 is honestly educate the world.
Man.
If you can touch one person outside of your household, you've done it. I've done it 3 times over in the last 2 months. And I have children thinking outside of the box that they're already in. So once you get you right and you get your family right, get your work environment right. And I promise you, nothing will stop us from being where we need to be. I'm going to make me and my brother some food because we're hungry and we deserve this shit.
Oh, God.
I say.
I'm going to wrap this shit up. You know what I mean? Because it's getting to a point where, you know, we have to start educating ourselves with the one true thing that I feel like we don't understand. This is going to our black men out there. The black woman is God, bro. Let's just call a spade for spade. You know what I mean? Hey, Lala, good night. I just wanted to tell you that you are a God, if you haven't noticed that yet. Because, you know, us men, you know what I mean? Yeah, we do create by, you know what I'm saying, by inserting ourselves. But at the same time, we don't breastfeed our kids. We don't, you know, hold our kids in our stomach for 9 months like our women do. So we got to start understanding, educate ourselves to start giving our black women their flowers before they're gone. Because once they're gone, man, it's just no more. But luckily, the fact that we're the people of the melanin people, the skin people, the richest skin of all skins, of all races, in the sense of how humble we are, how we accept anybody in our inner circle of communities. We should hold ourselves to a higher standard. We should educate ourselves to give ourselves our flowers because we built this motherfucker too. Educate ourselves that America ain't gonna be America without us. Understand it ain't gonna be America without Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, and all the black celebrities and actors and stuff like that. Yeah, the America would have been America. It would have been cool. But who really makes this motherfucker for real? Now, I mean, like, just think about it. Like, no matter where you go, it's something about us that influences others. Yeah, people don't want us to make, you know, people don't want to wear our shoes when it counts. But when it doesn't count, they want to do all the materialistic, oh, I want to do this and stuff like that, like this, like a nigga. But when it comes down to when we in the fields, the Million Man March and all the other stuff, where y'all at? At the house, chilling and shit, saying shit ain't got nothing to do with me. We need to get out of that, educate ourselves that it does have something to do with you because you in this country. We ain't gonna be allowing people to step on our necks. You understand? It's not gonna happen no more. If you feel like you think that's gonna happen, guess what? Stop being a little girl or a little boy. Start manning up. Start womaning up in this motherfucker. Start educating ourselves. Hey, we have rights. Guess what? Them Bill of Rights, they still apply. We have the right to bear arms. Because guess what? Educate ourselves that a war is coming, physically and mentally. You guys better be careful out there. Be prepared. Because I know when it comes down to it, everybody ain't going to be able to get saved up in this motherfucker. Unless we educate ourselves to know that we all have to think on one accord. National Guard all over California right now. Trust me, I know. Between the borders of Nevada and California, educate yourself. It's getting to a point to where what's the point of having National Guard in San Bernardino, California, inner cities of Washington, D.C. and New York and shit like that? What's the point of having all that? It's an Air Force base in Fort Worth. You know what I mean? People, how many African Americans are at Fort Worth? I mean, come on now. Think about it. This don't happen by chance. You know what I mean? Naval bases in San Diego. They ain't just to protect us. You know what I'm saying? It may seem that way. But guess what? It all depends on who you know and what you know. And guess what? Shout out to my boy Diamond in the Rough. Go look up what he just said, because I'm going to do the same thing. And then when it comes down to it, y'all be safe out there. This has been the Black Journal 20th episode. And y'all be cool. Thank y'all for tuning in. Love y'all. Peace.